we're in a period of time where we're kind of on a battlefield of ideas going on. I would argue that at the moment, our side is winning that. And you can see this because someone came to a microphone fight with a gun. That means that the microphone is winning. The voice of the people is winning. The hearts and minds of people are changing. When you need to bring violence to something, that means you've lost the argument completely. You're now desperate. And I want so desperately to make sure, at least in my opinion, that we stay on that because we've been gaining ground. Ideas are winning. And ideas will always win over violence, in my opinion. No one should be black-pilled. No one should be black-pilled. Again, I will keep reminding you, someone took a gun to a microphone fight. That means the opposition is desperate. And that is why it is, in my opinion, critical to learn from this. It's like, what can we do now? Well, what we can do is see this. We can see that there is a group of people out there that wishes us harm and all this other stuff. Be aware of them. How can we rectify that? What are the solutions that we can put out there? Charlie Kirk, clearly effective using his voice. Let's get more microphones. Let's not shy away from that. Let's not resort to exactly what they just did. That's desperation. The voice is working. Let's get that message more out there. And that's what I'm hoping that we can do. Do not get blackpilled from this. Obviously, this is horrible, but look at this as obviously we're effective. Look, we won it. I'll say from my side, we won an election. We're starting to see some change. This is a positive. Stay on that momentum because we're watching them desperate. We're getting control of the battlefield. Stay on that path that was working.
I agreed with a lot of things that Charlie said. I also disagreed with a lot. I think the thing that is making me my most raw feelings on it is it's strengthening my faith. He was like a huge champion for the Lord, and past couple of years, my relationship with God has gotten extremely strong, and I just I think that this should make I think a lot of people are going to sort of get a little quieter with their faith, but I just hope that people get more bold with their relationship with God and their faith or whatever it is. And I think that the one thing that he should be completely remembered for is his faith and how strong he went for God. And it makes me emotional sometimes to think about, but yeah.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you being vulnerable and bring this back to us in a much, almost selfishly. Yesterday, we announced that we're doing the Real Game Awards, and we announced a venue for it. And I mentioned this yesterday after, as all this was happening. I mentioned this yesterday on the live stream I did, but we're up on a stage and we're going to be presenting and talking about video games for a living, right? But we are in a space that is ideologically captured by a lot of this insanity, that people that were championing this death yesterday, literally dancing on his grave before the body was cold. So when we announce a venue for the Real Game Awards and say, hey, we're going to do this, and then you see something like this happen, even before this happened, that gave me second thoughts about it. Should we be doing this live? Are we putting literally a target on ourselves? It does put a lot of thoughts in the back of my head.
But then they win.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's because they're scaring you out of doing what you do.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. You're right. And they win. And, really what it comes down to is in a situation like that, it's just going to cost that much more because we're going to need that much more security than what we already have built. So, it's just one of those things where you go like, shit. And you're right, Flawed. You're 100% right. You can't let evil win in a situation.
That's what it is. It's good and evil.
What has happened here is that this event will create even a larger chasm because this was a mask-off moment for a lot of people. The way people reacted to it, the way people grieved over it, and the way some cheered it. which tells you everything that you know, that you need to know about these people. And by the way, just as a total side note, because I want to say this really fucking loud for everybody, I have some people that I used to work with that were fucking making snide remarks yesterday, and I want to go full screen on this. All y'all are giant pieces of shit, and I'm glad that I don't have to deal with you fucking again, because you're all pieces of trash, every single one of you. So fuck you guys for trying to dance on a man's grave like that. Fuck all y'all. Sorry. Speaking of being a little emotional about it, I just saw that yesterday, and they know who they are, and they can go fuck off.
Talking about trans is one thing, but this started with Obama praising BLM. That's where this actually started. Like,
You think so?
Yeah, turning everyone against each other, and then it went from Obama, BLM. If you didn't support BLM, you were a racist, and a lot of corporations weren't going along with that time. And then they used Trump. They called him a racist, and then during COVID is when the trans thing took off. But we were already on this path. Like this was already a thing.
We were on
Black
that
people
path
were
even
feeling
way before
entitled
that.
and hating white people just because they're white. Like it started with that, and then it turned trans, and they're just destroying society.
You
That's
know
what
what
they're trying to do.
Go ahead, Des.
This has been a death by a thousand cuts scenario. There's been
Mhm.
Marxist people infiltrating our school systems, our country for a long time. And earlier I said we need stronger deterrence. What I meant is that when we see a little bit of that Marxism, and for those of y'all that don't know, my mother is Cuban, so I literally had this destroy my family. Okay, so I thank goodness I grew up with having that knowledge. But anyway, a stronger deterrent is literally we need to bring back shaming, and we need to bring it back hard. Extremely angry, and I'm gonna try not to cry, because actually I usually cry when I get really angry. I can hear it coming up, but
You're okay. You're fine. Just talk. You're good.
I'm so angry, and I actually think this is, and it's Silver Fox, I know you aren't saying this, but this is a very, very expected emotion. I don't think it's a wrong emotion. I think it's actually part of the process. And actually, I think anger can really serve you a lot of times, because it can cause action. Now, it depends whether or not that's a good action is the question, right? So, it's not good to take my anger, then go down the street and shoot up a bunch of people, but it can also it can help you go do something. And so I don't really feel like anger is necessarily a bad thing. I do feel changed, and I'm okay being changed. I think big events are going to change you.
Can I just reiterate that I completely agree with her? Like, I completely agree. I'm like, I told my wife this morning, I was like, I might be off for a couple of days, and I'm not trying to sound all like weird about it, but I'm like, I'm angry. And that's why I made the distinction when I said what I said, that I'm not saying that we shouldn't radically do something and figure out what the hell is going on and get to the bottom of this, like, for real. I just mean, I guess I meant more like on I'm trying not to sound gay, like a spiritual level, like to don't let it like change your values. And by the way, it's good it's good to have the right, you're in the exactly right spot to have, those are good values to want to, because someone said in the chat, the Bible is biblical to have like biblical anger,
righteous indignation.
Yeah. When Jesus
righteous indignation.
When Jesus got angry and went into the temple and started, smashing stuff around because of all the crap they were doing in there, like, this is that
I've
sort
been
of
on
thing.
both sides politically. I one time quite a leftist back in the day. I've seen both sides, and I can tell you that. Let me word it like this. I hope this is a wake-up call to the right. Where have you been? Okay, when on the left, they are politically activated like you do not understand. And I can tell you, the right doesn't understand this. Mm-hmm. Anytime I talk to the right, it's money, 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 money. Money solves everything. Money, 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 money. That's all I give a shit about. So you've had everything infiltrated. If there was someone wandering around your house, I guarantee you're going to go, who is that person? You're calling the police. You're not going to wait. You're not going to wait around for shit to happen. You're on it. Where has everyone been? You've been infiltrated in every single institution, everywhere, and you did nothing. Where have you been as parents when these teachers came in and started talking about really horrible stuff? Where were you? I don't see them. I never saw the picket lines. I never saw anyone rallying against doing anything. So what I'm hoping, so this isn't me yelling at anyone, I'm hoping this is a wake-up call that we have been infiltrated. And we need to be more proactive and awake to what's going on, because if you were awake and you were paying attention, I don't think we'd be in this position. We saw a lot of news clips of all these news outlets and everyone saying, you know, all these violent rhetoric. Where was the right side? Well, you didn't hear it because we don't have a voice. You gave that position, you gave that voice to the left, because when your kid said, I want to be an artist, or I want to be in media, or I want to do this and this, it's like, well, you didn't make money that way. And so you have no voice. And so if there is a voice controlled entirely by one side, and it's in print, media, social network, every single in every single place, then imagine what someone on the left is. It's all they're hearing 24 hours a day is the right are evil, the right are fascist, the right is this, and this, and that's all they hear, and it never ever stops, and they're never hearing another opinion. We even saw this with the train stabbing. They weren't even aware of this because the news and that voice won't allow them to see it. So we can get angry at the left all day long going, guys, how are you not on our side? How are you not seeing this logic? It's because they're not even seeing.
Talk about evil. This is fucking evil.
That's somebody who's never been in a fight in their life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Skinny little fucking dork that goes to some college who did, anyways.
No, and if that doesn't make your stomach churn and just fill you with rage, and you're right, Fox. Like, there's not enough people who have been punched, who have not been punched in the nose in society. Mm-hmm. And man, oh man, like, once again, it's not about physical violence, but this guy didn't have a dad who slapped on the back of the head or a grandpa that said, hey, why don't you, like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like that's ridiculous. But hey, guess what? At least there's Reddit. I don't know if you guys saw Reddit this morning, and specifically Reddit music, r/music, the trolling that they put. I just want to show you guys the top songs on the Reddit chart that have been conveniently posted by Reddit, and I'll let you guys be the judge here. Let's go to kill those for a second. Childish Gambino, This Is America. New Radicals, You Get What You Give. Alanis Morissette, Ironic. Paramore, That's What You Get. And Bobby Darwin, Goodbye Charlie. These have been manually curated by the people at r/music. Not even fucking human.
Yeah, it's all hissing demons. That's all I hear. That's all I see. I just can't. It's crazy.
I would urge everyone out there real fast is that if you do have some subscription to Hulu or whatever, consider taking at least one of those subscriptions, taking however amount of money from that and start giving them to creators or organizations out there that you feel are leading the charge in a positive momentum. I'm an old hippie. So I'm not trying to beg for money here, but it really does money runs the world, and maybe start considering putting that money into creators and organizations that you believe in so that they can create the institutions that we desperately need. And at the very least, start showing people that we do want to give that money and put that money into those resources, making those other companies nervous about that. Yeah. I urge everyone to do that.
And I just saw, sorry.
Good, Nolly.
I just saw somebody in the chat say that we're past voting with our wallet. I would like to correct you very directly and say, no, we're not. That is kind of all that we have. If you're going to act like we're past voting with our wallet, then you're saying that we do need to resort to violence because they're not listening to communication. So I'm not on that team. I'm not trying to go out and start a civil war. While I feel like that is a scary path option, one of the branches in our future, I don't believe it's the only one. And much like Phoenix is saying, if we adjust our lifestyles and we stop funding these voices that are using their voices for evil, whether it's a celebrity or a company or an influencer, they are using their voice to perpetuate violence, to instigate people, and to demonize anyone who disagrees with them. That is the issue here. And if you guys voted with your wallet, and I know we say that phrase a lot, if you use your money to give to companies, creators, celebrities, influencers that are sending the message you support, then that is the message you will start to hear. Because just like Charlie and just like this show and just like me and all of those shows that you watch on the internet, like Craig said, they take money. Charlie didn't just go out there for shits and giggles. He went out there because he knew he was making a difference. And you guys kept him going. His supporters kept him going. They were able to fund what he was doing and keep him going. So if you're not going to fund stuff like that, you're not going to see it anymore.